Right now.
So put Coco in this cage or do I leave him out here?
No, you could just leave him out here, but put up the gate. Hello, 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 hello.
Hey,
Can you?
Christopher. My bad.
No, you're good. How's it going, Angel?
And going, how about yourself?
It's going pretty good, man.
That's good.
You go to UC Merced, right?
Yes, sir.
Remind me of your major again.
Psychology.
Okay, psychology major. Well, I mean, it's finally good to meet you. I mean, you got a pretty sharp profile, my man. And I mean,
Thanks, sir.
I kind of just wanted to reach out to you, but I mean, before we kind of kind of get started, I mean, I'm kind of just curious. I mean, like, what caught your attention? I mean, you said you're a psychology major and you want to learn about business.
Uh-huh. Well, because I've always been not necessarily over the place, like in a bad way. I just have a lot of interests.
Okay.
So I plan on going into the medical field, but also have like other, I suppose, like aspirations that I want to do, like on my own business. I know I have a few business ideas I want to have in the medical field, but there are a few that I have like when it comes down to, I guess, assets, that I kind of want to get started on now so I can like build like generational wealth. I'm a first gen student, so it's like it's been kind of tough. I don't want like the rest of my family to have to deal with that.
Hmm.
So that's where I was interested, like in business and things of that sort.
No, definitely. And I really appreciate you sharing that out. Something that I really like took out of there was, generational wealth and first gen college student. I'm the same thing, you know. First generation college student, currently going to UC Merced. Why I picked the school because of financial aid.
Mhm.
Same thing. I didn't want my parents to have to pay so much out of their pocket. So, you know, luckily, UC Merced's helping me out a lot with that. But no, yeah, I mean, that's the same exact reason I wanted to start my own business. Obviously, to my goal is to retire my family in the next 5 years, and I mean, I know with this business is possible as long as I put in the work, as long as I put in the time. I know I can do
Mhm.
it, and so yeah, so pretty much like I'd say for this meeting, I'm not gonna say I wouldn't say I'm gonna go too much into business, maybe like some surface level things, but this
Mhm.
meeting is kind of more of like me and you getting to know each other, because I mean,
Awesome.
like pretty much we just knew each other from LinkedIn, and I mean, it's our
Yeah.
first time meeting, so I kind of want to get to know you. I want to see, if our values align, if our beliefs align. So far, just from the things you've said, it's looking like it. But I mean, I can't really get to know you in one meeting in like 1 hour. So I mean, you know, um, yeah. I mean, I kind of just wanted to like introduce myself. Kind of share a little bit more about myself. My name is Christopher Castañeda. I'm a second year at UC Merced. Majoring in management, business, and economics. And I chose that major because, like you said, I've always wanted to, own my own business. I've always kind of been like a young entrepreneur. Back in middle school and high school, I was always that kid with the Arizonas and like the chips in my backpack. So, you already know, I was like always reselling things. I was on like Go. Just anything I can resell, anything I can like find to make money. That was me.
Mhm.
Why? Because I didn't like asking my parents for money because I knew we didn't have money. So I would always try to find ways, to make money. uh, Pretty funny story actually. My parents, kind of, we were just like all eating at the table, and they were like, "Oh, you know what? Like, you know what I realized, Chris? Like, when you were little, like out of your brother and out of like your little sister, like you're the one who never asked us for any money. Like you always found ways. Because I would sell slime. I would sell like little rainbow loom bracelets. Literally like
Mhm.
anything you can think of, like to like make money. I was there trying to trying to like sell it.
Mhm.
But yeah, I mean, it goes a lot deeper than that. I'd say, growing up, both my parents are immigrants. They both came, this country, for a better future. My mom came when she was 7, my dad at 16, and I
Mhm.
mean, because of that, all they know is work. They kind of have like that employee mindset, where like they just know is work, 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 and I
Mhm.
kind of want to break that cycle for them. Why? Because I see how tired they are. Like, they don't even need to
Mhm.
tell me they come home from work, working, what, full time, like 5, 6 days a week. And so kind of just like seeing them always stressed, seeing their like, their face, they're tired, like I can tell they're tired, they're
Mhm.
both 40 right now. And so, I mean, I know like by the time like the next 5 years they'll be 45, and that's kind of
Mhm.
where I want to retire them because I know that they'll be able to kind of be able to still do things at that age. I'd say like what kind of really like motivated me, that kind of like really pushed me out of my comfort zone, was something that I did. I actually got arrested when I was 15 years old, and I'd say because of that, I feel like I matured at a very young age. So I started working at 15, 16, 17, 18, and so I mean none of my friends at 15 were working, so they kind of didn't really
Mhm.
understand what I was going through. It was kind of like right before COVID as well, and because I got arrested, I actually got back out. Like, don't think I killed anybody. I just did like I did like some vandalism, and you know, it was pretty bad, and I regret it, but at the same time I don't, because if I, you know, didn't do that, I wouldn't be here in this position that I am today. You know, I actually got sent to like a continuation school. Kind of all like these bad things were coming and like happening to me, and because of that, I started doing really good. I got like a math tutor, started excelling in school, and my mom actually switched me school districts. Why? Because she knew that the association I was in prior wasn't the best for me. And, you know, it was kind of just dragging me down. I was doing things that, you know, I normally wouldn't do. And because of that, my mom moved me, you know, school districts. And when she moved me school districts, I actually got into this one, you know, what was it, in extracurricular, Avid. I saw that you were an Avid
Oh, yeah,
tutor.
yeah.
And that's another reason why, like, I was like, oh, you know what, let me see if this guy wants to meet up, because Avid really impacted me, you know, in a really good way. My Avid teacher, you know, she was actually she had her PhD and everything, so we kind of called her a doctor.
Okay.
You know, she really impacted me. You know, she saw something in me that I couldn't see in myself, and because of that, that's literally the reason I applied to college. I didn't plan on going to college. You know, I saw my brother working two jobs. He had a nice BMW. I'm like, you know, I just want to work and be like him. But that was like that employee mindset, and I was like, all right, you know what,
Right.
like, I don't want to, like, you know, reoccur that same cycle. So she's like, Christopher, you know, like, I see a lot of potential in you. You know, you're very outgoing, you're very optimistic. You know, why don't you apply to college? I'm like, okay, you're right. I'm like, all right, I'll just stick with CSUs, because I know any, like, not any UCs are gonna, you know, accept me. I have like a 3.4 GPA. It's not that good. And she's like, oh no, like, apply to UCs too. I'm like, I'm not trying to write the essays. She was like, if you're lazy, like, you know, like, no one else is gonna do it for you. And I was like, all right. So I wrote the four essays, and I mean, they weren't the best, but they were all right. I mean, they got me into UC Merced. So yeah, once I saw that, I was, you know, I was like really happy, and I pretty much, you know, once I got there, I was very lazy. You know, I kind of stepped out of my comfort zone my second semester. You know, I had no idea what to do in college. But again, my first semester in college, you know, I was you know, going parties, drinking, smoking, you know, doing a lot of things that weren't, you know, beneficial for my health or for me in general.
Right.
And you know, I actually lost someone very close to me, you know, during my senior year in high school, and that kind of affected me and took a toll with me to, like, to college. I don't want to say like that's the reason I was kind of addicted, but I know I had a really strong marijuana addiction. But you know, I'm proud to say, you know, I've been sober for like the past 7 months because of this, you know, not because of this business, but because of this mentorship. So essentially, like, what these steps are, like why we're meeting today, is for the mentorship. I can go into that, you know, a little bit later. But yeah, pretty much I've been able to kind of, like, you know, develop myself, overcome a lot of things that I was kind of going through, you know, my first year in college, because I used to just associate with these people who, you know, weren't, you know, good for me. They were kind of just bringing me down and not really, like, you know, uplifting me in any ways. And you know, something that my coach told me, she was all like, you know, you're the average of the five people you hang around with. And I started like thinking about it. So I was like, all right, you know, like, which five people do I hang around with the most? You know, my first year in college. I went up to them and asked them, hey, like, what are your goals? Like, what do you want to do after college? You know, like, what is your plan? None of them have plans. They were kind of just all go with the flow. They didn't know what they wanted to do. They kind of just lived in the moment. And I was like, all right, you know, like, what am I doing? You know, like, yeah, like, I might like have one similar interest to them, but, you know, these aren't the people I really want to be around. So, you know, this past year, this past semester, you know, I'm proud to say I didn't go to any party. Didn't, you know, like, go out, you know, do things like I did my first year. You know, it's kind of more more reserved, but, you know, in a good way. I did it for myself, so I was like, you know, really developing myself. But yeah, I mean, kind of like all those actions that I did, you know, as I was a kid, you know, growing up, kind of led me to the position where I am today. And yeah, I mean, like, that's kind of just like a little bit about myself. Um, but yeah, man, I kind of wanted to
Thanks
ask
for
you, like,
sharing that.
no, yeah,
I appreciate your transparency, and I respect like how you pulled yourself out of that hole. You know, because not a lot of people do, and it's like shows a lot of like growth and maturity that you're able to recognize where you're had your flaws and be able to turn that over and like improve your life for the better.
no, yeah, definitely. I kind of want to ask
Um,
you now, like, you know, like if you can, like, you know, like, share a little bit about yourself.
yeah, I got you. I mean, not really the same as you. When it comes down to like the situation, kind of. I mean, I'm first gen too.
Mm-hmm.
My dad works pretty hard. My mom's a stay at home mom.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it's education. Education's always been really important to them. So it's like throughout high school, like I was always like busting my butt, like trying to get good grades, all APs, things like that.
Yeah.
If you saw my LinkedIn, so I was adding stuff to my LinkedIn like sophomore year. Um, I got a jump start to it. I'm not really a big party person. I mean, there was like a point, like not sophomore, senior year. I was like, oh, like I kind of want to like socialize, like go out and party and like have a few drinks with a few friends. I
Yeah.
mean, like for like Coco or like ball, like I did enjoy those times, but
Hmm.
um, in retrospect, like just like this past semester, like being away from the people from back home, I really realized that like those weren't my people. I didn't feel like I fit in, and I thought it was like an issue with me. But then I just realized I needed to surround myself with people that had the same mindset and the same goals as I did. And I realized that once I went to Merced. So it's like now,
Mm.
like I've spent the whole break and I haven't talked to anybody from back home, and I've just been sticking to my work. Trying to get ahead on my calc stuff, so like, I can do pretty well in it.
There you go.
Um, but I told my mom that I'm sorry I gave her that I gave her a boring parenthood because I was always just doing my stuff. But I feel you when it comes down to like wanting to retire my parents. I mean, I see my dad like busting his butt like every day. He never complains, but you can see it.
Yeah.
Um, and it's like it's sad to see because like that's always ever known, and my mom's always had like health issues and different like psychological like I guess obstacles and barriers that kind of kept her from being who she wants to be and like achieving what she wants to achieve. So um, during my time at Merced, I really like I was beginning to dedicate more time to myself and to my personal growth. Like starting going to the gym and stuff. In high school, like even though I did all the APs and stuff, I was still really social. I just wanted people to like me. So
Hmm.
I gave a lot of my time to like talk to people, and that really impacted my grades. Like I was just like having like mainly B's. I mean, that's not bad, but it wasn't ideal.
Yeah.
But like now, I learned to like have that social and work life balance. So it's
Yeah.
like straight A's this past semester, and hopefully to keep the same way. And now I got the hang of like the of my schedule. I'm trying to like find more jobs to do and dedicate myself to like other activities just to add on to my LinkedIn.
No, yeah, definitely. Yo, I kind of wanted to ask you, and I mean, like, thank you, for, like, for sharing. I mean, sound like you had a pretty good, like, childhood growing up. Like you didn't kind of,
Oh yeah.
like, face like any like really big barriers, I'd say. But
Mhm.
like, right now, are you currently working or no?
Yes, I work two jobs.
You work two
One of
jobs.
them's the TA position at
Okay.
one of the high schools that's close to it's in Atwater.
Okay.
And then I'm also a broadcasting assistant for the school for the basketball or for just all the sports whenever we have an event.
Okay. There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
And
awesome,
then
man.
I have space in my schedule. I like early mornings a lot, so I'm trying to find something that I can work from like 5 to 9 probably before my classes start.
Okay. No, yeah. So something that I really like about, like this business is that, there's no like, I'd say, um, like actual time to work on it. You can put as much
Mm-hmm.
time as you want, into this
Mm-hmm.
business, and
Mm-hmm.
that's why I really like, it's not really supposed to, like conflict, with anything you got going on right now. Because I mean, I started this, I was working full time at the bank. I had a summer class,
Awesome.
and I was just really packed, and I mean, I have a girlfriend, so they like want my time, like she always wants my time,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
so it's not really supposed to like conflict with things you got going on. So like usually what I would do was like, I would like, go out through my day, do my things, and then boom, like at night or either in the early in the morning, I would just kind of like, get some things done with my business. Because if I'm being completely honest with you, we kind of like to see like kind of like what mindset you have, kind of like, how ambitious you are, like how bad you want to learn, and
Uh-huh.
because I'm gonna be, sending you. Are you joining through your phone?
Yeah, I'm joining through my laptop.
Oh,
My
through.
bad. My phone's about to die. It
No,
wasn't
you're good.
connecting earlier.
You're good. Here.
Thank you. Sorry
I'll
about
admit you.
that.
There. There you go. For sure.
Awesome. Sorry about that.
No, you're good. Angel, give me one
Sorry about
second. Let me
that.
just excuse me real quick. I'm gonna get something real quick. Be right back.
Hey.
Sorry about that. I got a little dog, and I don't want him to go into like the
Bro.
garbage. I'm like, no, don't eat that.
You're good. No worries.
Yeah, but no, yeah. So I mean, we're talking about, you have a job, and I mean, actually, like, I applaud you for that because I mean, most college students don't have a job. They're like, oh, you know what? I'm a full time college student. I just need to learn. Like that's my sole focus. And I'm not gonna lie, that was kind of my mindset coming into college too, because I didn't know what to do. My parents were like, oh no, you go to college, we'll help you pay with your stuff. And my parents really couldn't help me. Like yeah, they said it, but they can barely like pay the rent here, and kind of like take care of my siblings. And kind of because of what I told you prior, how I lost someone very close to me. My mom lost her sister. I lost my tia. She had a little kid, so we kind of took him in. So now I like see him like my little brother. So that's an extra like head that my mom used to kind of provide for now, and so
Right.
it got a little bit more challenging. So that's why I was like, what, like, all right, I need to start working. I need to think of a side hustle, think of something to do. So my first year, I was out and about. I made a snack shop in my dorm, and so people would come to my dorm on El Portal, the third floor, to come knocking. Random people sometimes. I would make cup of noodles for them. I had waters. I would go to Costco, so people didn't have to go
Mhm.
out. So they just come to me. Make it super convenient,
Right.
easy. Had a mini fridge, had a microwave, so had that little store. It was pretty good. I was making some money from it, but no, yeah. I mean, I really appreciate like you sharing that out. Kind of like your story. I kind of wanted to ask have you ever kind of like experienced like mentorship, like not you like giving mentorship, but like have you ever like kind of been under mentorship, or like like when you need advice, kind of like like who do you reach out to?
Mhm. I have a few people. Again, like I told you, my interest are pretty diverse. So I have like a mentor. I have a few mentors in medical actually, but I just don't have a mentor in business. That's what I'm trying to look for right now.
Okay, okay. So yeah, so you kind of have like um these mentors kind of like all around you, kind of like a few of them. And
Yeah. Mhm.
can I ask you like a follow-up question on that?
Of course.
Yeah. What kind of like makes you call them your mentors? I'm just curious.
Um, they kind of like I'm going down the same path that a lot of them did. So I feel like they look at me like as their past and younger self. So they kind of
Mm,
advise me what I should and shouldn't do.
okay.
And it's like it's our relationship doesn't really just consist of that. Like our relationship built with them as like mutual like respect and like just getting to know each other. And then from then on, they kind of just like pick me up and like oh like what is it like what do you want your future to look like or what are you expecting out of yourself in the future? And I told them like okay like well I'd like to advise you in these certain areas like would you be willing to like hear my criticism? So that's how it kind of started with most of them.
Okay. No, yeah, and I mean, that's great. They're there giving you advice. That's something I wish I had. I never kind of really had like I'd say maybe like my Avid teacher was kind of like my mentor at first. Because she was kind of helping me out. With college and stuff like that. Because my parents had no idea. They're just like, go to college. We need you to go to college. I'm like, all right. I have no idea how to apply. I don't know how to apply for FAFSA. I don't know how to get scholarships. But I ended up doing it all. Why? Because kind of like my mentor. Um, but I kind of realized, like after, while I was in this business, like my business coach and, my mentor, like they actually made me realize, like why I should call them like my mentor. And, I'd call someone my mentor because, they have something that I don't have, or they have the lifestyle that I want. They have something that I want. And, my mentor, his name is Phil. He retired himself at the age of 22. And I'm like, all right,
Oh wow.
well, I'm just 20. I want to retire myself at the age of 22. And, not just that, but, he actually retired his mom at 23 and his dad at 24. And this is, taking into consideration, that he's, what's the word called? I don't want to say he was like an immigrant, but he was an international student.
Oh,
And
that's it.
he came here when he was 18, to the US. And so like he had broken English. He's working like a dishwasher job. And he was luckily able to kind of like start up his own business. And now he has businesses here in Texas, in Canada, pretty much like almost all over the world right now. And
Mhm.
you know he's become pretty successful. And at the age of 25, he actually you know got enough money to sponsor both of his parents to fly them from Vietnam, to the U.S. And I
Wow.
mean, I don't know how much money that is, but I know it's a lot of money to, just to sponsor one person, to kind of bring him over here.
Yeah.
So, he's able to do that by the age of 25. And I mean, kind of like seeing that and hearing that, I was kind of like, all right, you know what, like that sounds really like interesting. Like I was really surprised, but at the same time, like, all right, you
Mhm.
know what, like, how did he do it? Like I want to know. I want to ask him. So, luckily for me, this is kind of like our first time meeting. Kind of, I would say, like step one in the process of meeting. Um, you
Mhm.
know, at the third step of the process, we're kind of gonna break down, um, like the whole company, how the money's made, give you a lot more insight. You kind of know everything by like the third step. And
Mhm.
we actually had there was an in-person meeting in San Jose, and
Mhm.
I was like, all right, you know what? I really wanted to go to it. I wanted to learn more about this opportunity. So my mom, she actually drove me down because my mom was like, no, I don't trust these people. They're gonna rob you. They're gonna steal you. You know how protective
Mhm.
moms are. And
Yeah,
so
okay.
she drove me down. The meeting lasted really long. Like it started at like what was it? I think like 6:30. We got there at like 7:30. So I got like an hour late because like we just caught a lot of traffic. I'm more
Yeah.
I'm like right above San Francisco. I didn't even ask where are you from. My bad.
Mhm.
Sorry, Andrew.
But,
You cut out, Angel. My bad.
sorry. Yeah, my bad. Oh, that's terrible. That's why I had trouble with joining earlier. I'm from SAC.
Okay, Sacramento. There you go.
Yeah.
I have some family out there, and that's actually gonna come over here today. And I actually have one of my other business partners. He's actually about to kind of launch his own business. And he's from Elk Grove, so I think it's pretty close over
Oh,
there.
awesome. Yeah,
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 yeah.
yeah.
Which
Where I'm from.
you're also from Elk Grove?
Yeah, I just say
What?
SAC because that's what everyone
No, yeah,
knows.
that's what everyone knows. Okay, wow,
Yeah.
that's actually very funny. What are the odds? No, yeah, but kind of like I was saying. Oh, sorry, I lost my train of thought. Oh yeah, so I was kind of in the third step in the process, and I got to see the whole association. I got there, everybody was professional suit and tie. I was like, all right, like I was going in with the mindset like strictly professional. Business meeting. No, I walk in there, everything's like going nice. I go sit down. People are like yelling, they're like, "Oh, let's go!" This and that, and I'm like, "Wait, what?" Like, I was so like overstimulated, and me being someone who's very outgoing, optimistic, like I'm very loud. I'm like you can consider me a yapper, but
Mhm.
when like I have to be professional, I can be professional. So it's kind of like I got to and I was surprised to be in that type of environment. I've never been in such like an optimistic, uplifting environment, and
Mhm.
I actually got to meet Phil, my mentor, that day. And I was like, okay.
Awesome.
I was
Yeah.
like, I was really like, oh, like I've seen so many of your videos. I've seen you kind of like your talks, like because after today, I kind of want to maybe send you like an audio from him, kind of see what you think about it, from my mentor.
Mhm.
But I asked him, I'm like, hey Phil, I'm like I'm really surprised, like what you've done, like I know you have a lot of success, but I kind of wanted to ask, like is what you're doing, like I want to be mentored by you, but only if if what you're doing is legal and ethical. And he was
Mhm.
like, he kind of just looked at me funny, and he was like, okay, Chris. He's like thousands of people asking that, at every meeting, at every kind of like business conference. And he asked me, he was all like, what makes you different than everybody else? And I kind of just stood there. I was like,
Mhm.
what? Little like 18-year-old, or I think I was 19 at the time. And I was kind of just there. I pulled up my resume on my phone and I started scrolling through. I'm like, oh, well, I have this experience. I have public, like speaking. I have this, I have this, I have that. And he was like, that tells me nothing about you. And I was like, what? Like he just had me there, like in silence. I was like no one's ever really spoke to me like that. And he was like, you know what I look for, Christopher? And I was like,
Chris, can you give me a second? It's cutting out. I'm gonna find a better sit at real quick.
no, yeah, yeah, no worries.
Sorry about that, Chris.
All right. So I was kind of telling you about my mentor. You're good. I can tell that you're like a little like laggy there. I just
About
wasn't.
like in the middle, about in like the.
Can you hear me now? Oh, it's lagging a lot now.
Better. They're not like I'm trying to find a better spot. They're not like middle of nowhere, so it's like we only have like one service available. I think the hallway's gonna have to do.
No, yeah, it's good. This is where I can kind of hear you the best. All right, no, yeah. So kind of like I was saying, um, I kind of lost my train of thought. All right, so yeah, so I kind of asked my mentor, I'm like, like, is what you're doing legal and ethical? He's like, Chris, thousands of people ask me this, every single big conference, every meeting. He's like, what makes you different? So I showed him my resume. I showed him that I had experience in this. I had customer service skills. I had cash handling. Had all these like soft skills, like people skills, and he's like, that tells me nothing about you. And I was kind of just there like in silence. I'm like, all right, like, what does impress this guy? Like, what should I tell him? And he was all like, I look for people that have integrity, people who have accountability. If what they say they're gonna do matches what they actually do. And I kind of just stood there and I was like, wow, like what the heck, like I never really like I've thought about that, but kind of in the back of my mind, And so no one has ever really spoken to me like that. So when like he was like just talk like that, I'm like, all right, I know this guy's like the real deal. Like like I can just like the way like I can just sense like the way he talks, the way he carries himself. I'm like, all right, you know what, like this is someone who actually did like is doing something right for himself. And
Right.
yeah, I mean, kind of after that day, I was just like, all right, you know what, like I really want to do this. Like I want to continue like learning about this business because yeah, I was still only on the third step of the business. We have 7 steps, and not until you kind of see it like the whole 7 steps, it's kind of like when you kind of like learn everything, kind of like see yourself really like maybe doing this, and yeah, I mean, kind of going into that, like he asked me a question. He was like, how do you want to live your life? And when he asked me that, I was like, oh, you know what? I want to be rich. And then he's like, okay, why do you want to be rich? And then he was telling me, all right, you know what? I wouldn't really necessarily pick the word rich. I would pick the word wealthy. And I was like, why wealthy? He's like, because wealthy, you have time and money. And he really made me, he taught me a really valuable like lesson right there. He told me that, that time is a lot more valuable than money. Because money comes and goes, but time doesn't. Once I invest my time into something, it's gone. So
Right.
he kind of made me realize, like why, like like why we have jobs and like why people like kind of like trade something for less of value for something more value, and once he just made me realize that, I'm like, all right, like I actually need to ask myself that, like how do I want to live my life? Because he asked me that, but I just said like wealthy. It wasn't like like a clear plan, what I want to do, step by step every year, like, oh, I want to hit this goal by this. So I didn't really have like anything planned. And I was like, oh, I want to have like a nice car. I want to have a house. It's like, okay, like how many bedrooms? How many bathrooms? Where do you want to get it? How much will the house cost? And I was like, once he started asking me that, I was like, I haven't really put much thought into it. He was like, um, he was like, kind of like a dream without like, a plan is just a wish.
Mhm.
And I was
Right.
like, bro, like he just kind of just like sit me down. I was like, dang, like like I was over here like I was so eager. I wanted to like, do this, do that, and to come out to think, I don't even have a plan. I don't even have like a game plan to like actually reach those goals. So
Yeah.
you know, after that, I was just like, wow, he really made me reflect. And the meeting kind of ended after that. Had to go. My mom was calling me. It was pretty late already. We were in San Jose. It was like 11. We were super hungry, and then me and my mom, we kind of just went to like a Denny's and ate. I was in like a full suit and tie. I have a picture. I'm like, mom, like that was like the most like life changing meeting ever. Like I need to keep learning about this. And my mom was super proud of me. But yeah, that kind of like leads me to kind of ask you, like, how do you want to live your life?
I think the same way you kind of just said. We've always kind of lived in poverty. When I was growing up, like I was always like really short on money. Couldn't
Mm,
they couldn't spoil me, and I had to learn to like be frugal. And like in retrospect, like it sucked at the time, but like now I'm very like grateful because like I'm better with my money than a lot of people our age are. Like my girlfriend, like she's terrible, and it's like I'm stuck with like trying to teach like my friends or like my girlfriend, like no, like is that a need? Is that a want? Is that a need? And
that's the
like
same thing
you
I
have
have
to
to deal
decide.
with my girlfriend. She's like, "Oh, I want this." I'm like, "All right, do you need it though?" She's like, "No." Literally the
Yeah,
same the same thing with me. I can definitely
yeah.
relate with you on that.
yeah, so it's like growing up, it kind of sucked. You know, it was just like work, work, work. You know, and that's all I knew. I helped my dad and my uncle. My uncle has a cattle business, so it's like I was always stuck around with like vaccinating them, helping move them and feeding them and things like that. And like I realized that I didn't want to live life like that. And that's what all my family's known for like generations, like cattle or like farming or just like trade work, blue collar work kind of thing. You know, I'm
Mm-hmm.
like no, like that's not who I am. I feel like I have a lot more to me. I have a lot more like mental capability. I could take more on myself. But like at first, it's like, oh, like I want to be rich, you know. Like, I guess I need to change that kind of perspective on it. I need to be wealthy, because like I want my parents to travel and like enjoy life, and I want my sister to like live a better life than I did. Because like I said, like first gen, like you go through everything by yourself. So it's like I want to pave the way for her, and I
Mm-hmm.
also want to pave the way for like our people, you know, because I know that a lot of like Hispanics struggle with direction and like finding what their like I guess personal reasoning for being on this earth is, you know, and I feel like you found it and I found it. I think I want to help other people kind of find their way. I think that's really important to me too. When I was in high school, I had a club where I gathered like a ton of Hispanics and I like troubled Hispanics and it's like, no, like, like you gotta focus on school, dude. Like no more parties, kind of thing. And then do like a grade or do like weekly like grade checks and things of that sort. I just ran into one of them. I don't have social media anymore, so it's hard for me to keep contact with them.
Okay.
But I ran into one of them at the store the other day when I was back home, and he changed schools, but like he's straight A's now when he used to be failing all his classes. So it's like it's great to see that like even if it's like a tiny seed that I planted, it's still bearing fruit. Um, but I definitely do want to be wealthy. But I kind of want to get best of both worlds. Like I want to have that wealth, but I also want to have like that like I guess sense of satisfaction that I was able to change lives. Um, that's
Right.
why I've always kind of stuck to medical.
Mm. Okay.
But then again, like sometimes, like I do need more money. I need to make sure that like everybody who follows after me is like well fed and don't have any worries to kind of tend to.
No, yeah, definitely. I really appreciate you for sharing. I was kind of gonna ask, like, what your why is after, but I feel like I kind of got a sense of what it is. You definitely want to give back to your family, help your family, but not only that, help other people. And
Mhm.
that's something I'm kind of like I'm very keen on too because me personally, I've always loved helping people. Something that I can give you like a little insight in this business. That just a few months, like just last month, it was a season of giving, Christmas time. Me and a few of my business partners, we were able, to go out, retail product slash service, and we were able to help a lot of people with it, not because we just wanted to make money, but because with everybody who kind of contributed, and kind of like was able to kind of make some type of money from the products that we had. Each business partner gave up 10% of what they made so we can give back, to the homeless. And that's something I'm really big on because like we made a little goodie bags for them. I think we had um how much was it? I think it was around like $2,000 we would have raised up, and we actually helped a lot of homeless people. Kind of at least we made like their New Year's better because it was like right after Christmas. Right before New Year's, right at New Year's, kind of like a whole week straight. We were kind of just going out. Any homeless person we saw, we had a goodie bag for them. We had clothes. We had like all like the essentials in there for them, and we kind of just gave back to them, and that's something I really like doing too. Kind of like you said, like in high school, me and my other friend, Miguel, we made a club. It's called the Anti-Racist Union. It sounds kind of harsh, but I
Mhm.
mean we were in a predominantly white school. There was a lot of
Yeah.
racism, and so we
Mhm.
got a lot of the minorities up together, and we kind of created that club. Me being like the
Mhm.
president, and then he being like the founder. He had kind of like initially had like the idea of it, and then he's like, all right, you know what, like we should do this. We shared it to our teachers, like yeah, let's do it. So then every week we kind of had like a meeting. What can we do? We made flyers. We made like those Google forms, stuff like that. We were kind of just trying to be creative with
Mhm.
it, and it's still going on now. So we're kind of like really glad that it kind of carried on. So like we're not even there, but it's still there. Like it's still a club you can apply for. So I know that we made
Mhm.
that impact. Kind of like you said. We planted that seed, and there's still fruit there.
Mhm.
And something that I really got from you. Sorry, we don't play with this right now. Something that I really got from you was like you have very good what was it called again? Sorry, I'm trying to think of the word. I couldn't think of it. Your speech, the way you talk,
Mhm.
I can kind of see, that, not like I wouldn't say you're trained for it, but you have a good, speaking skill. And, not a lot of, kids at this age right now, they're kind of like, they're either very shy, they don't really know, like, they don't know how to speak. But, like the words that you
Right.
use, I can tell, that, you talk to a lot of people, I'd say. And,
Thank you. Yeah.
no, yeah. Um, but yeah, man, I mean, like, that was kind of, like, just like the questions I kind of wanted to ask you. Um, I mean, I did like want to ask you like what your why is. But I mean, maybe you can like maybe like fix it up. I'm just assuming that's what your why was. Yeah, I mean, if you want to
Mhm.
maybe share like why you're doing all this, like why you want to build a business, why you want to like help other people, like what kind of drives you, like like what's like that like internal motivation.
Um, I'd say like my intrinsic motivation. I don't know. Like I've always had trouble like settling for less. I suppose like it's always perfection.
Mm.
I was talking to my mom about it the other day, and it's like I could never find myself being comfortable with the spot that I'm in. Like, it doesn't matter like now or from like 10 years from now. I just always have that feeling that I'll always want more, and it'll just like progressively be that way.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and it's like I know that within myself, I could never see myself just working like a 9 to 5 and only sticking to my family and only making money for my family. I always not. I just feel like I can feel it like in myself that there's just so much more to me, that
Mm-hmm.
I'm capable of so much more, and that like there's just so many different lives that I can change and I can help my family. That it's like I just need to get started on it. Like I feel that motivation. Like I don't know how to explain it. Like it's just like a feeling within me. It's like it's pretty strong. It's like you're destined for so much more. And it's like even though I've improved a lot, like in the past 5 months since I started at school, and it's like no, like you're not even like that's 1% change. Like there's so much more you could have done better. You could have been better like in your time management. You could have been better with like your self growth. You could have like dedicated more time to studying. You could have spent less time like on Netflix or whatever. Um, so I'd say like my intrinsic motivation is just like knowing that there's more to me and that I'm destined for so much more. Like I need to find what that is. I know it's helping people, but I just need to figure out the what. Like I know the why. I just need to know what the what is.
Mm.
I just want to kind of find that out. I feel like in getting involving myself like in business and like understanding like how different industries work, I'll find something that I'll know will be suitable for me in ways that I can change lives and can also like help my family as well. Um, so yeah, I think that's a pretty good explanation as to why or like what my intrinsic motivation is.
No,
It's just
definitely.
like I guess always wanting more and wanting more for others as well because I know others are like capable of so much more and it kind of disappoints me. Like I had to take some time away from my friends in high school to kind of like I took junior year to step away from everybody just to focus on like my academics. And once I came back, like I was like, are you do you believe in religion? Like, are you Christian or Catholic or anything?
Yeah, I'm Catholic.
Catholic. Okay, so you know that like that one. I forgot what verse it is, but it's like sometimes like you have to step away from those that are hurting you and pulling you down, and
Yeah.
then once you've healed yourself, you need to come back and heal them. That's kind of like something that I really believe in.
Mm.
I don't I don't believe you should if you see someone drowning and trying to pull you down, even if you have to save yourself, you have to go back for them.
Yeah. I see
So that's
that.
like something I try and do. I forgot where I was going with that, but yeah, I lost my train of thought. My apologies.
No, you're good. You're good. But I definitely think like the mindset that like you were kind of talking about, and I appreciate you sharing that. Because most people they don't really know what their why is. They kind of just do things, kind of just go with the flow. But I mean, at least you
Mhm,
kind of have like some perspective of kind of like why you're doing all these things. Kind of like you don't
mhm,
want to settle for less. You know you're capable of more, and I actually really like the example that you used, because me and a lot of my business partners, like let's say like when we go to like business conferences, like just this what was it, like just last weekend we went to Palm Springs. We had this really big business conference. It was really inspiring, really impactful. And it was on a weekend, so Sunday, most of us we went to church. We don't always go to church. You don't have to if you don't want to, but I mean like most of my business partners there, either they're Catholic or they're Christian. And I actually like
mhm,
really like that because I'm not really in like I was never in an environment that was so like nice. Like no one ever brings you down in this association, which is something that I really
mhm,
like. We have like these rules, things like that. Nothing like crazy, but kind of just like self respect type of rules. Like no smoking, no vulgarity. You know, no drinking, no talking behind people's backs, don't mess with people's
Mm,
money, don't mess with their honey, so things like that,
mm,
yeah. So I've never really been in like an environment like that. I've always been, like
mm.
high school. People is like backstabbing
Yeah.
you. People is talking smack about you.
Yeah.
So it's like when I put myself in this, I was like, all right. I was really like, all right, who do I gotta watch out for? But nobody. Like I'm good there.
Right.
And
Right.
like I really appreciate you like you sharing that out, Angel. And yeah, I mean that kind of like sums it up for like like this meeting. I mean, if you have like any questions, like concerns, like I can answer them. If you want like a brief kind of like some like how to say it, like some like surface level kind of information, what I can
Mhm.
share with you right now. I mean, like, do you know what e-commerce is?
It's kind of like not trading, but selling online, right? Like if you have like the Amazon store, they hold it in stock and you buy a certain amount and then you sell it. Is that like
Yeah,
a decent understanding?
yeah. So it's similar to that. But I'd say like something that kind of like a good example for it would kind of be I'd say like a Uber or Airbnb, because
Mhm.
Uber is like I'd say the app. It connects people who need a ride, people who have money who are willing to pay for a ride, to someone who needs money that has a car. So Uber's like the
Mhm.
largest taxi company, and they own no cars. Why? Because they leverage other people's cars and they connect them with people who need a
Mhm.
ride. So
Gotcha. So it's being like that, that mediary. Or what's that word?
that middleman.
Yeah, the middleman. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. So Uber's the
Gotcha.
middleman. Same thing with Airbnb. They don't own any real estate yet. Like they're like the largest. What is it called again? Like almost like hotel type of service. Like it connects people. Who need a place to stay, and people who are willing to pay for that. So Airbnb owns no real
Right.
estate, but they connect people because it's the
Mhm.
application. It's like that middleman, the middle ground. It connects the two people together. And
Mhm.
for franchising, let me give you an example of like your famous McDonald's, right?
Mhm.
Do you think they make the best cheeseburgers?
Probably not.
Yeah, you could probably make a better cheeseburger, right? I
Yeah.
bet. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So McDonald's has a very simple, easy kind of way. Like they have a drive-through. It's kind of like all together. Like do you know how much it costs? To buy McDonald's?
I haven't seen recent numbers, but I was talking to my mom about it a few years back, and we were looking at one close by, and it was like 500 grand, I think.
Okay. Yeah. So it's probably gone up. It's like I think like 1.2 million now. Like to buy like your
Oh,
own. Yeah.
gosh.
Yeah. Like to buy your own McDonald's. And because like McDonald's has everything kind of so simple, like they have instructions how to make like super easy food. It makes it easy
Mhm.
for like the owner to help someone else, you know, buy their own McDonald's. Kind of teach them how to run their own McDonald's. So that's kind of,
Mhm.
I'd say, like franchise. Like something that's it's simple. It's like everything's simple there. Uh, but it's not easy to get it, because it's a lot of money. Like I don't think you
Right.
and me together combined have that much money. So yeah,
Not yet, not yet.
no, yeah, not yet, exactly. And yeah, I mean, that's kind of just like it's like surface level information I can give you now.
Mhm.
Kind of going forward, I kind of wanted to ask, if there's like another way we can kind of stay in contact. I do check my LinkedIn, but it's not like my
Mhm.
main source and kind of where I text everybody, like where I like message people. So I mean, I'm not
Mhm.
sure if you're comfortable in maybe sharing your phone number with me. We can kind of text back and forth there. I kind of like look at
Sure,
that like
gotcha.
usually first.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you yesterday so I could text you, but I wasn't sure. I shared it in chat with you.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, I see that. All right. 16840. And I kind of wanted to move forward. I wanted to ask you, are you more of a reader or more of like a listener? Because I have some material I actually want to share out with you, that my mentor recommends. And,
Mhm.
I want to ask you, because most people, like, I'll send them a book and then they never end up reading it. And then I never
Mhm.
hear back from them. I'm like, all right, you know what? It's good meeting you, but I guess they're not a reader. But,
Right. What's the quantity like?
so it's actually the shortened version. It's nothing crazy. I think it's like, 50, 70 pages. It's called the Book of the 21st Century by Robert Kiyosaki. I'm not sure if you heard about it.
Um, the name kind of sounds familiar, but I think I can read it.
Yeah, okay, no, yeah, because I usually send out that book to, people, usually after we meet, I talk to a lot of people every day, like, oh, you know what, I'm serious
Mhm.
about this. Send me the book, I'll finish it. Never hear from them again.
Mhm.
Or,
Right.
sometimes I like, I send them an audio, it's like an hour long. Talks about
Mhm.
entrepreneurship, kind of dives more in depth about it. It's a video from my mentor.
Mhm.
But I mean, I'll let you pick. Usually I kind of just like assign people like, oh, you get this, but you seem like someone very optimistic. Someone who's kind of eager to learn, and you seem like you want to do this at least, and you're like you want to learn about it. Foremost.
Yeah.
So I kind of like give you the benefit of the doubt, kind of let you choose.
Yeah. Thank you.
No, yeah. So all right, I got your number. Let me see. Let me just so you can actually save my number.
I'm attaching my Gmail as well, just so you can have that for future references.
Okay, perfect. Yeah. Yeah, so I just sent you a message. You can kind of save my phone number now.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, I can send you that book. You don't have to finish the book for us to, book the next meeting. Something I want to tell you, and I'm gonna be, I'd say, persistent on it. I wish someone told me this when I was in the process. My business partner, who I work very closely with, you'll most likely meet him. I'd say, maybe in the next few days. When you're open, to meet again, if you want to meet again. We can kind of show you like the business model, the structure of how the business works, and yeah, I mean you can kind of just like just get started and read the book. I kind of want to ask like how long do you think it'll take you to read the book?
I can finish it today.
You can finish it today.
Yeah.
That's what I love to hear. No, yeah. It shouldn't be long. It's literally like it kind of just gets to the point. It skips all like the
Awesome.
introduction and stuff like that. It's just
Gotcha.
like 70 pages, I believe, and there's like even then it's like less than that. So I'll send you the ebook. It's gonna talk to you more about kind of like our business model. So like if you actually read it, you're gonna understand what it is. So we're gonna go into the second meeting. You're gonna be like, all right, like I already know this. I read the book. Like we're good. Kind of just skim through it pretty quickly then.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, if you don't have any questions now, or if you do, you can ask me, or you can write them down as you're reading the book, kind of just reflect on it. But yeah, then we can kind of just I'll reach back out to you and I'll send you the book shortly, Angel.
Awesome. I appreciate it. It was nice meeting you, Chris.
No,
I appreciate you taking the time to meet with me.
No, yeah, and I mean, I appreciate your time as well. Kind of joining up. My apologies for kind of sending out this Zoom like on the dot.
No worries.
No, but
Yeah.
no, yeah. I mean, I appreciate you two. You kind of finding a better location so we can finish the meeting. So
Yeah.
props to you on that. But yeah, man, I'll send you the book, and I mean, it was great talking to you today, right?
Likewise. Thank you. Appreciate it. I'll talk to you soon.
All right, talk to you soon, man. Bye bye.
Bye.
Yeah,
Let's go.
it's totally so tough.
Nah, he's goated. He's actually tough.